Hello, and welcome again to OP Podcasts. We're here again, and we wanted to touch on what we've actually learnt from our parents as a topic of discussion today. The things that we've experienced growing up, and how it's impacting us now, the good, the bad, and I guess what we've learnt.
Hello guys, good evening. I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome back to OP Podcast. We're happy to have you here. We're actually really enjoying doing this, guys, and we look to put more content forward to you guys. Yeah.
So we're going to jump straight in to talking about the kind of things that we learn from our parents, and I guess how it started to impact our marriage, and whether I guess the other person appreciated that or not as well, and then learn from that.
Yeah. I guess we can talk a bit about how we are individually as well, and and how different we are / how similar we are, and just talk a little bit about our experiences thus far through the dating stage. So now, after we're settled, and what we've grown to discover as well.
It's essentially how we've rubbed off on each other slowly. We're just moulding into one person,
but still very different.
But but no, we are still different in I think pretty key ways actually that continue to make things work the way that they do. Continue to be there to support each other, because if we were exactly the same, we would break down at the same point. And you can't have two parents basically breaking down and being like, I'm not sure if I can even cope with everything right now.
Not at the same time. But I guess we'll start off with, how would you describe yourself?
How would I describe myself?
And then you describe yourself, and then I will describe you, and then I will describe myself, and then you describe me.
Oh, right. I thought we were just focusing on me.
Oh, yes. Your episode.
Okay. Then I guess, how many words do I get?
Not how many words, just a little short statement.
Short statement?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to think that I am funny as much as I try to be. Probably not that funny. But I like to think if I can't be funny, and I like to think that I'm kind and thoughtful, and I try to put myself in other people's shoes as much as possible before I do anything or say anything. Doesn't mean it always goes well, but I have the best intentions before I start something. Like, I never go out of my way to hurt someone or like try and annoy someone or piss them off or anything like that, because I don't think I've got very many enemies really, because
You don't know.
I don't know. No, they're plotting in the shadows.
You don't know that.
But whoever they are, they haven't made themselves clear to me.
I know who they are.
Do you? That's because it's you. Keep your enemies close, apparently.
Yeah, you marry them.
Becoming the same.
God, that's so funny.
But yeah, okay. So, do you agree with that? Or?
I do. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I thought.
Well, that's good.
In my eyes, you're funny. And I also find myself, I think every time somebody asks me, oh, so what's it like then? I'll just say, you're funny. I'll just go, yes, he's incredibly funny, and he just makes me laugh all the time.
Not good looking, but just funny.
Yeah. Just, he's funny, and then I just go, yeah, and tall. Well, people think he's tall, but I don't think he's that tall.
No, that's the thing. In your family, I'm not that tall. Like, don't get me wrong.
Oh,
I'm
guys,
not.
we're a family of giants. Like, Yeah, I'm 5'8". He's over 6 foot.
Just
Just
only
over
just.
6 foot, and his youngest brother is probably 6'3" now. Our son, if you see him, he looks like he's a 3-year-old, but he's not even 2 yet.
No, he's 2 in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, but yeah, we're a family of tall people.
And then in your family, like, I'm not short, but I don't stick out.
No,
Not
You don't.
not due to height, at least anyway.
Amongst our friends, you stick out. But
That's because
then-
we're friends with midgets.
amongst our friends, you stick out. But then when it comes to my family, it's like you don't stick out at all.
Oh no,
In terms of height, you're like the average basic.
I'm
bitch.
slightly shorter than your younger brother. I'm very shorter than your youngest.
Yeah.
I don't know whose youngest brother is taller. Do you
I think
mine
my
or yours?
youngest brother.
Do you think?
Yeah, I was having a chat with your brother yesterday. I think my youngest brother is taller than your brother now.
When you sat down during that chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this was in the living room. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was just because he asked, he was like, "Oh, how's he doing now?" And I was like, "Oh, he's good, he's good." But anyway, guys, yeah, I would often describe him as he's very, very funny. He's tall.
Me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
describe you very funny, tall, and yeah, fair. Isn't like your hair and things like that.
Oh, I thought you meant just like I'm a fair person.
No.
No, just
He's fair.
visually, I'm just like, yeah, it's just he's very vanilla.
He's just vanilla and bland. But yeah,
Wow.
that's what. There was some passion behind that.
Passion. That was passive. In fact, actually, no, you said it with your chest. That was no.
He is bland. Sorry, guys. It's Friday night. We are very tired. It is now actually Saturday morning. It's 12:15, and we're exhausted. So
We
we're a
got
bit
to go to bed
delirious.
soon.
Yes, because our little one does not let us sleep. But anyway, yes, that's how I would describe you. Yeah.
So you agree? You just thought you'd add in some like extra bland seasoning into the.
No, you're funny, you're kind, you're generous, and you're tall. In people's eyes.
In people's, well, yours too.
In people's eyes.
But no, I think that's fair enough. Go on then. Let's flip it over. Your turn in the hot seat. How would you describe yourself?
I would describe myself as funny as well. Only because that's all my friends do. Funny. Even my manager says it. Oh, you're so funny.
I don't know. I mean, if they say it like that, that's already like a red flag.
Like, I feel like every person I meet, I just make them laugh, somehow. Even the grumpiest of the grumpiest people, I get a little haha out of them. So it makes
A little
me,
what?
Haha.
Oh,
So it makes me happy. I'm kind, very, very kind. I'm very friendly. That's my thing. And I would say I'm very sensitive as well. So funny, kind, friendly, sensitive, and sassy.
so all the S's.
All the S's.
Just
Just sassy.
sassy.
Just, yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with all of that. Yeah, I think you're incredibly sensitive to a lot of things, like sensitive to people, but on the flip side, you're sensitive about what people say as well. Which is good and bad really, because you're open to hearing people's opinion, but then it sticks and lingers.
Yeah.
I think longer than it should. You laugh, but it's pain. It's funny because it hurts deep down.
Oh my God, are you trying to tell me something here?
I tell you this all the time. Like I agree with. Well, I mean, I agree with everything, but the sensitive bit especially, just because you just need to be able to let go a little bit more sometimes, and I appreciate that that's difficult, especially since. Oh, I know.
I'm really trying, and I have to say, I've gotten so much better at it this year. Actually,
I think you've gotten better over the last few years.
Especially
actually.
2021 was awful.
Oh.
That was the peak of it. I would hold on to things. Anxiety was just ridiculous.
Well, yeah, I think part of that is because of all the lockdowns, really.
No, and just work and bitches. Just
Because bitches.
just bitches.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
bitches.
actually, yeah. I mean, your previous work,
Yeah.
you didn't have a good. Like, it was a very
Listen,
toxic work
guys,
environment.
we in this world, and I know everybody will probably be saying, "Oh, you always talk about being kind and being kind to yourself and being friendly and things like that." It's how do I describe this? It's important that you do so in this world that we live in at the moment, because for some reason, every single person, majority,
Is out for
are
themselves.
hungry and are out to take anybody out. Like, you can form a genuine friendship with somebody, or something that I would assume to be a genuine friendship, because you know how I am. I'm just like, oh my god, the connection is there, it's amazing, it's real.
But the thing I would say, I think you're better at picking up
Energies
some
as
of the
well.
subtleties
Oh yeah,
than I am.
yeah.
Because we both go into things with roughly the same kind of mindset. Like, oh, somebody's here, we're getting to know them, it's going okay. But I think you're more emotionally and mentally in tune and mature. And I'm not.
It's a skill. It's
Yeah,
scary,
like, I'm
actually.
fully aware that I'm not mature enough in that sense to like pick up on it quick enough. To be like, you know what, I don't think that you are genuine in what you're saying. Like, it's been good. Because when people start interacting for the first time, it's all like what they want to put forward. But once that mask starts to slip, if they are wearing a mask, some people are
Oh yeah,
are genuinely genuine.
yeah, genuine, like me.
Yeah,
We always get hurt.
yeah. Well, that was the other thing I wanted to add, as well. It's just that being genuine and open, it's more painful, and I think a lot of people want to stop feeling that pain, basically, of getting hurt all the time.
Yeah.
But if you close that door of being genuine and being kind to people, it kind of stunts you in a way. But if you keep yourself open, then you're able to experience much more out of life. You appreciate the ups just because of the downs anyway. I can't remember where I heard that, but I think it's true, because I mean we've both experienced a certain amount of downs, and
Yeah, I think it's because I think that's the one thing that also keeps us connected, the both of us, because we're both so sensitive in that sense that we're genuine with people, and because we have so much love to give to people and so much kindness to give to people, we almost think it's almost naive in a way that we expect it from people. If someone shows us a glimpse of their teeth, we're like, oh my god, they're friends.
Well, I mean that's what you always learn in school. Like the golden rule is treat other people how you expect to be treated, but that's not.
No, and it's almost like what you're saying is people are now shutting out completely because they're sick and tired of that pain, because it's painful. So we've been bitten so many times, and I wouldn't even say I've changed all that much since I can remember being that friendly girl that gets on with everybody and always seeming to get hurt. But it's, I feel like that's because we connect with that bond is very, very strong, and because we give each other that kindness as well, and we receive it from one another. It's that force is what keeps us like happy in our marriage and in our connection and just everything, really.
Yeah, I think I've evolved into somebody that's a little bit blunter than I was a few years ago.
100%.
Doesn't mean I'm unkind.
Me.
No. Well, it doesn't mean I'm unkind.
Yeah.
But I'm not good. You know when you kind of like just sit in like maybe like a group setting or something, and you're like there's a conversation happening around you, and you're like, I don't want to be here. like you're there physically, but your mind is just
tuned
it's
out.
gone. You're like, how can I leave this
You're
room?
seeing monkeys dancing in fucking space, mate.
Yeah, like the monkey and cymbals,
Yeah.
like there's nothing going on. And I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, you know what? I can't be bothered to stay here for no other reason than I don't want to like attract attention on the fact that I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
I'm laughing because I get it so much.
Oh, I know. Just like if I'm not, a part of this. Why am I here? I'm going. I'm going to do my own thing or whatever it is. Or, I'm just going to say to somebody that, what's your opinion on this? And like, I think it's that. Doesn't mean it's unkind. It's just, that's what it is. I don't think I've ever said anything that's really that unkind or like blunt in an angry way.
No, like you said, I have the emotional maturity, and I just have that ability to pick up on people's energy immediately. Immediately. Like, I read people so well, it actually scares me. But when it comes to communicating the blunt facts, it takes me a longer period to get to that point. Whereas with you, you're able to just go, listen, mate, I appreciate you, but you're trying bullshit. I'm not buying what you're saying. I'm just going to tell you now. Meanwhile, I'll be like, oh my God, really? Even though at the back of my head, I clocked it was bullshit like 5 years ago.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like if people come to the door, like, oh, we've got this great thing we've got to sell. Or
you just go, no, not interested. You shut the door in their face.
No disrespect to any religions or anything like that, but like Jehovah's Witnesses that knock on the door, like, oh, we want to talk to you about this. I'm like,
oh, guys, we're religious, by the way. He's just talking about like the people that force, when they come and you say to them, oh, I'm Christian, and they still trying to convert you into.
Well, it's not even that. Just like, oh, no, thank you, and they're like, oh, but this and but that. Like, no, I've said no. I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear it.
You're not listening.
Stop talking to me. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Guys, basically, we're the same person, but yeah, it takes him. He's very quick to communicate. I don't want this. No, this, that, and the other. And I'm a bit more. I smelt your shit ages ago, but I'm just gonna dance around you for a minute anyway, just to suss you out more, just to read you
just a double check.
Just to double check, and I'm always usually right. But that's how we are. But today, what we wanted to dive in a little bit more was things that we have learned from our parents or seen in our parents' marriage that we have brought with us. What we've decided to incorporate into our marriage, and what we've decided that didn't work out so well.
Not incorporate.
I mean, apply a bit into our marriage, and the things that we've put in and the things that we've put out, essentially. And do you want to start? Shall I?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. One thing for me is that often, when your parents have arguments and things like that, is hearing shouting in the home, and that didn't bother me so much. But it's after they've had an argument or disagreement, just a little bicker in front of us, and then you can tell they're mad at each other, and then they don't speak to each other for ages.
There's that silence that you just need to swim through because it's so thick.
And it makes communication so hard for everybody in the home. Because I remember when that would happen and mum would not be talking to dad, or dad not talking to mum, vice versa, it would go on for maybe 3 weeks. Weeks. And sometimes we would, when you go in the morning, I'll just go and knock on their door. I'm going to school. Can I get money? Go ask your dad. Go ask your mum. Well, tell her I said this. Well, tell him. And I'm just sat there looking at the clock like, okay, but it's 8:15 now. I don't know how I'm going to get from here to school in 15 minutes.
Bruv, I just wanted lunch money.
Yeah, this is not counselling. I have to go. So that was the thing that I had to work on, because I think when we initially started, even around the dating period, I would give you like really long silent treatments, and then you would make things okay, but then I wouldn't be okay myself because I'm not ready to kind of break out of the silent treatment in my head, even though because you've apologized and you've explained and we've spoken, I'm like, okay, I'm going along with it anyway, but I'm not happy. But yeah, now I've worked on that a lot more, I feel, and we communicate sooner, much sooner.
Yeah.
So much so that even if you don't come, sometimes I'm like, you did not come straight away. How dare you?
No, and sometimes that can be a thing in of itself anyway. But
Yeah.
I mean, I certainly appreciate the fact that we kind of try and deal with things quicker, especially. I mean, the one thing in an ideal world is to make sure that we do it before we go to bed, even if we're not super like happy. Just the fact that we're at least back on the same page again and moving in unison, and then that when we wake up, we know that okay, what happened yesterday was yesterday, today is today, and then we can just go about our day and continue to be a unit. Because I'm not being funny, but a similar thing happened with my family as well. My mum and dad would have an argument and then they wouldn't speak. I don't think it went on for weeks though. But they definitely dragged their feet when it came to dealing with things and actually talking it through with each other. And I guess I've picked up inadvertently, maybe giving too much space sometimes, or like I'm not sure sometimes how to initiate the conversation of, look, I know we had like a little moment of like not talking, or just I've given you your space to cool down and you've given me my space to cool down. Because it was a little bit, trying to think of the word, like almost explosive in my like growing up in my household. And I guess I'm never worried about that from you, but that's always in the back of my head, like that's where it would, like, from experience
to,
yeah, but it never does here, but it did then.
It's the same. So essentially another thing, guys, we've had very similar, we're very, very different. We've
but
already
we're very
discussed
similar.
that, but we're also very similar. And as time goes on, you guys will probably hear more stories about our background and things as such. And once you hear those, you'll probably understand why I said we're very different in terms of our upbringings. But in terms of the dynamics of our family, it's very the same. So he's the eldest, I'm the eldest. We've both got two younger brothers who are the same age. So your youngest brother is
18.
And so is mine. Yours is going to be 20 next year, and so will mine.
19?
No, 19 next year. Oh, yeah. God. Oh, yes, God. And then my other brother...
Middle brother. Yeah.
Middle brothers. Mine is... he just turned 26, and yours is going to be...
27 this year. Yeah. In 2023.
So they're both... Yeah. And then us, 28. So it's almost like they're all 6 months apart as well, funnily enough.
Yeah, it's all within like half a year.
Yeah.
Like, it's not...
So we're 6 months apart. They're all 6 months apart as well. So that's a bit, ooh.
Yeah.
All my astrology people, if you know anything, do let us know.
Was it written in the stars?
Was it written in the stars? What star sign are you, Virgo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're Pisces.
Yeah. We're Pisces people.
I don't believe in any of that, but yeah, that's fine. It's nice to know, but yeah.
I'd say that, but I don't really know what's what. I just know that apparently we're sensitive, so
yeah,
which is me, sensitive.
You know what? Maybe some of you can let us know.
Yeah.
Like, more of the astrology horoscopes, like what it says about us, or astrologically, are we destined to be with each other, or
Yeah, I like hearing it, but I don't actually take out the time to
go find it.
So if you guys let us know, I'm all up for it. But yeah, that's how similar we are / different, and those are the experiences that we've had. Another thing I loved about my parents' relationship that I've incorporated into our marriage is my parents are actually friends. Like, they are so funny, those two together. Individually, they're hilarious. Especially Mum.
Yeah, your mum's really funny.
My mum is funny,
whenever
guys.
we go there, you, like, pop to wherever your mum is, whether it's, like, her bedroom or the kitchen, or if she's sorting some stuff out, and then you're there, like, cackling away, like literally cackling.
Yeah.
And then I'm just sitting in the living room, probably by myself. I'm just like, man, it must be really nice to be involved with that. And just as a quick side note, the only reason I'm not is because I don't fully speak the
speak my
language.
language,
That's all. Yeah. So there's just some things that
But
don't
do you know what's
quite
funny? Your mum's also very funny in her own way.
in her own way.
No, she's hilarious, and she's got a very her voice very happy-go-lucky cooey.
Oh, she's like a cartoon character mum.
Yes.
Like that's how she sounds. It's very high pitched.
Yes.
It's very jolly all the
Yes.
time. I mean, she's also 5'2", so you know
And it's the
she's.
sound effects she makes all the time, which our son also makes. Ooh, ah, ooh, just like ooh, that's interesting.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Like
Yeah, she's very animated.
very animated, very colourful. So it's my mum. So you know, it's just funny in that sense. But my parents are friends, and guys, those two together, like I can watch them and just laugh. Not just me, my brothers. We're quite happy to just sit and watch our parents and just laugh.
Well, I do as well.
Yeah,
because they are funny.
They are really funny. So that's the one thing I've seen, and I think bringing funny into your marriage is important. You can't be serious all the time. You know, life is already hard enough as it is, and marriage is also hard, and it requires a lot of work. So it's almost like if you focus too much on the seriousness of it, and you don't bring any joy, because how can you be intimate with someone who you're not friends with, who you don't have that love for, that you know, who you can't let your guard around? Yeah. So it's just one of those things, really. What about you? What would you say?
Well, I was just going to essentially mirror what you were saying, but kind of flip it around a little bit. Because I mean, growing up, my parents weren't really friends, and like there would always be like plenty of disagreements and things like that about whether we should do things or whether we shouldn't do things. Disagreements on how to do things, where to keep things. Like it never really felt like they got along very well, and it was really clear to all of us that it was more work than it needed to be. Especially when, like, I mean, there are plenty of examples of, like, you know, things that happened, and I'm pretty sure as this podcast goes forward, like, I'll just drop one in every now and again, or something like that.
Oh, guys, we got loads to dig into.
But I mean, they just didn't get along. I mean, they're divorced now, but that's something that I wanted to make sure was different when I got married. Because I mean, it goes one way or the other. Like, you either follow suit and then I guess kind of have that in the back of your head and kind of like, well, you know, because they didn't have a good relationship, I'm not having a good relationship. But I wanted to learn from the mistakes that happened from my own eyes, because I mean, it may or may not have been the way that I viewed it, but I've at least learned from those experiences that I want to actually get on with my wife, and I want to be friends with you, and I also want to be friends with your family, and I want us to come home and enjoy our time and our space together. It shouldn't be that much to ask for, really, in a marriage.
No, I feel like as a woman as well, because often what we see in certain marriages is that the men can make themselves the scary figure. It's almost like if you show any sensitive side, you're weak to your wife. There are some men that actually believe that if you show kindness to your wife, they're going to abuse you. You know, you shouldn't be with somebody if you feel that if I let my guard down around you, you will abuse me, you will abuse that power. But in order to do that requires security and respect as well. And I feel that as a man, if you come across so scarily to your wife and you don't make the effort to be her friend in that sense, she can't open up fully to you, you know. So I think, and it's the same for me as well. If you're a bitch to your husband all the time, he can't fully open up to you. You have to let your guard down. You have to encourage him to let his guard down as well, so that you can connect during those intimate times as well. So it's nice that we both recognise that in our parents, and we've taken the good and we've kept it in our marriage, and it's working thus far.
So far, fingers crossed. Yeah,
it's working really well. I'm happy.
Good. I'm glad you're happy.
I'm happy. I mean, don't get me wrong, we do get our moments.
Yeah, but everyone does.
Yeah, whereby they're strained, but I am happy to have you as my lifelong partner.
Until death do us part. You're stuck with me forever. Because I'm far too happy with you. And, I mean, this is a podcast so they can't see us, but I'm punching, guys. I'm punching. Way above my weight.
Shut up. He's not. You're making me blush.
You're welcome.
Thank you. But, you know, guys, in order for your relationship to work, I think you as an individual have to recognise, you have to have massive self-awareness. You have to recognise what you're good at, what your good traits are, and what your bad traits are as well. Because you can't go around thinking you are absolutely perfect. No one is perfect. Marriage requires work. Relationship requires work. You can't expect one person to put in 110% whereby you give at best 20% only because you're the princess or because you're the man and you deserve to be worshipped.
And waited on hand and foot. Like,
yeah,
that's not how like a relationship works. It's meant to be give and take.
Yeah.
Like I give and you give, and then we're both able to take from the pot because it's continuing to be filled.
Yeah, and you have to also sometimes you have to learn to just continue to give even if you're not receiving anything back. Not all the time, but if you're being disrespected, then don't take shit. Don't get me wrong. But if the person is loving to you and treating you as you should be treated, you know, ensure to give them that same feeling back, treat them how you want to be treated. And always have that respect for each other as well. That's a big thing.
Yeah, well, it's like we said before, it's just keeping yourself open to what the other person that you're in a relationship with, regardless of whether you go through tough times or, you know, the going's good at the moment. You can't be in a relationship and start to raise a barrier because the connection between the two of you is going to get cut off, essentially. And if it gets cut off for too long, then there's no chance of reviving that, whether that be trust or anything else, really. You just got to make sure that you're kind to the other person, and it is painful to continue to keep your door open, your barriers down. But that's how you're able to experience the most out of, you know, what's good when it comes, which is why I'm saying I'm not letting you go anytime soon.
But do you know what though? It's amazing when you find that connection, and I wish that for a lot of people to find that. And I feel like nowadays our parents' generation were very slow to let go of things, as in bad treatments. They would stick around.
It was first come, first served. That was it. There was no I could do better. It was I need to do this as soon as possible.
No, it's not even that. They were, you know, when they're in abusive relationships, they held on to it because it's almost like if I let go, my family members will see that I failed and therefore I don't want to let go. So
almost as a form of weakness.
Yeah, our parents will hold on to that part. If I let go, this will happen. So they will hold on to it. And I feel like that's one extreme. And our generation is very quick to let go. As in, well, he's like,
Oh yeah, like the smallest reason, just like, well,
he chooses food like this. I don't like that.
yeah.
Let's
Oh,
go.
he chews like a goat.
Yeah.
He slurps rice. How do you slurp rice?
Yeah. Or he lives in this. He does everything I need him to do as a man for me, but I don't like the type of shoes that he wears. No. So no, I don't like.
He earns good money or she earns good money, but really they could earn a little bit more. And I'm accustomed to a lifestyle that's just a little bit more than that.
Yeah, that's our generation. I feel like, from my friends' relationships and their dating experiences, the plenty of stories that I've heard and TV programs that I've watched, this is all that's coming across to me. So it's almost finding that fine balance to make it work and recognize what work you need to do on yourself and how much work you need to put into your relationship, and how much you need to love that person. So we will soon go into love languages as well, guys. I feel like we have spoken quite a lot today, and let us know if you did enjoy this.
Yeah, and to be fair, there's plenty to say about this particular topic. I mean, I'm pretty sure we could have gone on for another 30-40 minutes talking about the things that we've experienced in our individual households, and then what we've done in terms of like putting them together in our own marriage, and what we've learned during the whole process about staying connected, continuing to communicate, loving each other regardless, and all that kind of stuff. But if you guys are enjoying it, then we can certainly do like a part 2 to this, and kind of dive a little bit deeper into some of the other things that we went through as children growing up, and what we wanted, what we didn't want, and what we learned from being in our own marriage.
So guys, we hope you enjoyed that. Like he said, let us know, and the only way you can show us is by commenting on the YouTube videos. We are on Spotify, we are on Twitter, we're on Instagram. Follow us there. Write, DM us, let us know. We want that interaction from you guys so that we can give you more of what you're looking for. At the moment, we're still searching very broadly and still trying to narrow down what it is and how it is we want to give it to you. But essentially, it's just talking to you guys as if you're our friends, because, well, you are.
Yeah, having you there as a third person, really.
Yeah.
Hearing talking between the two of us, but trying to be able to talk to you as well. So let us know. Send us a message on any of the socials that we've got. There's a few links to kind of ping you around. Anyway, but for now, we'll let you go, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you very much.
Take care. Ciao, ciao.